Now let's go behind the rock screen.
You're welcome to come on in. We'll bring out the moonshine, start telling lies and calling up the women. But no talk about racing. Come on.
Hey everybody, this is Josh with the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, joined by Jarrod Klay, driver of the number 17 modified from Lima, now in Bluffton. Jarrod, thanks for hopping on.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
So, first things first, how'd you get into racing?
I actually got into it by my mom, believe it or not. She has, I guess, still currently her own appraisal business. So she appraises a lot of commercial real estate, and she knew Ron Hammonds through some different connections, and Ron Hammonds owned sprint cars all growing up. So we go to Lima Land weekly, watch the sprint cars. Mike Breck, Mike Dussel, J.R. Stewart, all those guys were my heroes growing up, right? I loved watching them. I remember Dwayne Leiber, Wiener racing, Tim Allison. Those were my heroes growing up. And I was sitting in the stands so my mom was actually sponsoring his car, I guess. So that was the connection there. But so I was sitting in the stands one Friday night at Lima. I was 15. I looked at Mom and I was like, "You realize the rules state you can race at 16?" She's like, "Yes." So what does that mean? I was like, "Next year I'll be 16." And she goes, "And what do you think that's going to mean?" I was like, "I think I'm going to have a car." She's like, "Sure you are." I think it wasn't even a month later and we bought our first car. It was an old lease ring stock car, Camaro clip car. It had been around. It was very old. The frame was starting to flex. It was getting really weak, but it was a perfect starter car. My first season, we raced on 7 cylinders the majority of the first season because a rocker had fallen off and I didn't know anything about anything. So my crew chief had to teach me everything, and he's not a huge engine guy. But we found that we had bought another engine because we were way down on power. It was a little 355. We just thought it was a weak motor. But we were racing on 7 cylinders. So we found it when we were pulling the motor out. We're like, well, what do we do? Do we keep it in? Do we pull it out? We ended up putting the 383 in anyways. But that's how I got my start. Fell in love with sprint cars. And then as I grew up, I was like, fender cars are better. So we started in stock cars, and now I'm up into modified.
All right. So, I told you before we started recording, I saw a conversation that you had between you and Larry Bowes, and you talked about you got into racing, and then you got out for a little while, and you jumped back in. Is that right?
Yeah. So going through college and stuff, we had a newer stock car. Conovers built it for us. It was one of their nightmare chassis. And it was a great car. It was a great piece. I would love to have it back and race it again. I think we could really make it fast. I was just always down on motor. We just never had big motors. But I blew one up at Lima while I was going through college, and I didn't have the money to pay for college and pay for a motor, so I decided that my education was more important. Don't know if I still agree with that, but at the time I thought it was more important. But so we jumped out. I had like half a season, blew up the motor, so I was out for the remainder of that season, the next year, and then half a season the following year. We picked up a modified, slowly put it back together after I graduated. And so we were back out. We didn't really race a full schedule that year, but we were at least at the track. I don't think I could give it up forever.
So you talk about, I love the fact that you didn't, you admit to yourself, you didn't know anything about anything as far as racing was concerned, other than you like to go on Friday nights and watch, and you said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And you hear that story every once in a while. I mean, ultimately everybody starts somewhere, right? But you talk to guys that their dad or their grandpa, they were racing and it kind of trickles down. And then you talk to guys like you were just like, you know what, I want to do it. And I did it. And that's just awesome, man.
Yeah, I was really blessed. So my dad, he's not he's mechanically inclined, but he doesn't like working with cars or stuff. He likes working with woodworking. His dad was a carpenter. Actually, both my grandparents were contractors and built houses. So, like, no mechanical side of that, at least when it comes to cars, right? So I didn't really have an opportunity to learn that from anybody. But Trevor Hunt's my crew chief, and he actually crew chiefed for Mike Dunlap, ran stock cars and modifieds for years before my time, obviously. But Mike got out of racing, and we contacted Trevor and said, hey, are you interested in kind of taken a step backwards from where you guys were, because they had raced for years. They did pretty good. Take a step back and help a young kid learn how to do this. And he was all for it. It was actually something he had wanted to do for a while. So it worked out really well. And Seth and I, his son, had went to school together. So I knew the family pretty well already. Seth and I had spent a lot of time together over the years. So I had known Trevor, and Trevor taught me from, like, I didn't probably know what a half-inch wrench was, right? So I went from knowing absolutely nothing to, at this point, he's taught me a lot, right? I'm a certified mechanic. I can put together a race car on my own if I had to. I still can't weld. I still need him for that. I'm not a welder, but he's taught me a ton. So I can't be more grateful to him about it. Like I definitely wouldn't be where I am without his help. So
How did you decide to run the number 17?
That's a great question. I was trying to figure out a number to run, and I always liked number 7, but I didn't want just straight 7 because there are too many 7s. Like Jordan I was racing with Jordan at the time. He was number 7, and I was like, well, I don't want the same exact number as somebody if I can prevent it. And I actually, believe it or not, as a kid, I was looking in like, dreams, right? As a kid, you dream big. I was looking at NASCAR. I was like, well, there's no number 17s in NASCAR right now. So if I can make my way there, I can make myself number 17. Because at that time, Matt Kenseth was out. There wasn't 17. And I was like, well, I'm gonna own the number 17 and take it all the way to NASCAR if I get that opportunity. Obviously, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But that was kind of the thought. I liked the number. I liked the number 7. I wanted something to do with it, so it kind of worked out.
Okay. You had a win. If I got this right, you had a win in 2022. You had 4 wins in 2023, and then you moved to the modifieds in 2024. Is that right?
That's right. We started racing in 2013. I had one race. It was the year I bought the car. I was still 15. And we ran a night at Montpelier. That was their Monster Mash. We got one race in, and then fast forward to 2022, we hadn't gotten a win and all that. And like I said, we had been underpowered, raced with older chassis, just couldn't put together the whole combo. After college, obviously I'm making a little bit better money. I'm not in high school. And thankfully I'm very blessed by some of the people that have come around us over the years, because without these people, we definitely couldn't afford the equipment we're in today. We were able to put together something. The car we were racing is actually the car in this picture right behind me. It's actually a really, really old Pierce modified that had been converted. The motor mounts have been moved forward to make it a stock car. And it was old, but we had it figured out through the help of some people, Trevor, other people at the racetrack. Todd Sherman actually taught us a big secret about that car that is what actually propelled us to where we got it so fast. And so we got our first win in 2022. And after waiting that long, right, we'd started in 14 and we're in 2022. It was a pretty big deal, right? 8 years of racing and you get your first win. I couldn't have asked for it to go any better. Like it was a great night. My whole family was there. It was just awesome. It was my dad's birthday too.
Oh man, you can't beat that. Just got me thinking about that. You've been racing here recently and growing up and going to Lima Land. What are your thoughts? And I'd like to propose this especially to the guys that run modifieds. What are your thoughts in the transition of those cars? Because I remember when I was younger, and I'm a bit older than you, but the modifieds were what stock cars are today. Like if you go to the track today and you look at a stock car, well, if you roll back the clock to when I was a kid, today's stock cars were modifieds then, and then the stock cars in the past were the just bombers that were beat up that you were basically expecting them just to wreck each other for the entire race. A big change in not in just in stock cars, but in modifieds as well over the last 20, 30 years. How do you feel about that?
It's hard for me to have an opinion over the last 30 years, being that, I'm only 27, right? I'm pretty young compared to the rest of the guys. I don't know. Like I'm torn on it because, like you said, these things they've had such an evolution to where they were to where they are now. Trevor and I were actually talking about this last night, and he goes, "There's nothing economy about these mods anymore." I'm like, "They're not even called E mods." I said, "They're A mods." I mean, there's nothing. I mean, we're not even trying to pretend that they're cheap. And like we were talking about, we were looking down at the motor and the engine bay, and we were looking. We had the MSD box and my foot box, and I'm like, "Look how much wiring and stuff." You got MSD boxes, you got your coil, you got your KSE power steering and fuel pump combo. You got this belt drive system off the back of the crank. You got a racing specific transmission, carbon fiber drive shaft. We had this distributor we bought from Willys that they've actually manipulated a little bit to get more accurate timing. And we're looking at these and they're so complex anymore. He goes, "This is more complex than an early 2000s late model, Jarrod." He's like, "What? How did we get to this point?" I was like, "I don't know. I mean, it's your fault. I just grew up in it. Like, I'm not the one who let it get here,
Yeah. Yeah.
But to me, I don't know. I like mechanically, I like where the class is because I think if you want to go the route of using used parts off of a late model team or maybe there are modified teams at this point that are pretty much so doing this full time, right? So you can buy good used parts off of those teams too. I think mechanically we're in a good spot because you can buy good used parts at a discount. In my opinion, the focus of the rules is in the wrong area. It seems like the only thing they want to tech is bodies. I don't know. To me, a body is free. Yeah, you might use a little more aluminum to try to get some aero here or there, but you're not going to use like thousands of dollars more aluminum. It's a little bit here or there. Let guys get creative. Let them show some ingenuity. If the aero works, air is the only thing that's free in racing. Let us use it. I don't know. I like where the bodies have gone. I know they're trying to reel it back. In my opinion, the focus is in the wrong area. If you're trying to save some guys some cost, maybe look in a different area. I don't know what that area is. If you start pulling back on motors, well, these guys already have so much invested. What are they going to do with it then? I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like the focus on the body is definitely in the wrong area.
Well, I talked to Jerry Bowersock not too long ago, and we had a similar discussion. And he talked about, I think it was in the late models that they've got motors that are now like pushing 1,000 horsepower. And he's kind of talking the same thing about you're saying as far as like, we're getting this out of control financially, and it kind of needs to be reeled back in. And I think that plays a role not only in late models but in modifieds as well.
I mean, clear down the stock cars. I mean, the whole reason we moved up is, it seems like there's a lot of disagreements from track to track on rules. Stock cars can't just come together. Like Indiana's got it figured out. They have the Indiana Super Streets, and almost every track in Indiana, you can run a stock car, and you're going to fall in the rules, and you're going to be able to have a fighting chance if you're built to those rules. Ohio, if you build a Lima car, well, it's not entirely legal for this place, that place. And don't get me wrong, Rick Monroe at Eldora has put a ton of effort into putting the rules more under the same umbrella. But when we started looking at it, it was like, well, we have the same transmission that goes into modified. We're running swedge tubes and Heim joints. We're not running bird cages, so that's going to be a little bit of an expense. But, our upper control arms are still tubular control arms. We're still running the same ball joints. Our engine's the same thing except for it's a steel head. And truthfully, steel heads are getting really hard to find and expensive. A good set of used aluminum heads you can almost get cheaper and easier than steel. So we're looking at it and we're like, I don't know how long this class can maintain itself in the direction it's going. And we're already spending the same amount of money to run a modified as what we are spending it in a stock car. So that's why we made the jump. I don't feel like we had the stock cars mastered. I never got a championship. I would have liked to have a couple more years in it, seeing if I could have got a championship. But the direction that we saw it going, it was just the right time for us to move. We got a really good deal on a modified. Guy wanted our stock car, so it was God's timing. He worked out perfect for us.
All that being said, are you planning to stick with modifieds, or have you thought about moving to late models sometime in the future?
Oh, man, if somebody would give me an opportunity to late model, I would jump on it. I mean, yesterday. Yes, I would love to run a late model. I think they're bad to the bone. Like, one of my dreams is to run a late model at Attica. The way they just bury those cars into turn 3, I mean, there's nothing cooler on earth, in my opinion. I love the way late models drive in turn 3 at Attica. I don't know that our team will ever get to that point. We're going to have a lot of changes in finances for that to happen. I'm pretty happy where we're at in the modifieds. There's a ton of competition, and there's a ton of opportunity to go anywhere we want. So I'm pretty happy in the modified world, but if somebody gave me a shot at late model, I wouldn't say no.
Well, you're young enough, and you're going to be out there ripping in the modified. That chance may just come. You had some top 5s in your first year in a modified. That's got to give you a lot of gusto going into 2025.
Yeah, I don't know. My first year in modified was tough, especially coming off a year with 4 wins. It was hard to restart, and I understand it's part of that growing process. I completely get it. But man, winning's fun, and it's hard to go away from that. Truthfully, we fought with one hand tied behind our back for I'd say half, maybe a little over half the season. I misread a text from the chassis builder on loads in the right rear. So we set everything off of actual loads, like a spring smasher load, instead of like scales now, because these cars are so different from dynamic to static. You can't get the right numbers that you need statically. And if you try to go get it, you're going to be messing with ride heights. It's not going to translate the same as like the old school scale pads. And we still do scale, but we do it for different reasons. But we're setting a lot off a load. Well, I misread a text from the chassis builder, Lightning Chassis, and I had half the amount of load in the right rear as what I was supposed to have, and I couldn't get the car to rotate. We just really, really fought the car. The car was laying over on the right rear, but it wasn't having any right rear drive. The right rear just kind of skated across the track because there wasn't anything pushing it into the track. And they were actually at Waynesfield one night, and they come over and they're like, man, the car's really over on the right rear. The attitude looks good. I don't know why you're having this problem. And they're like, well, so they come over, we jack up the rear end, we pull off the tire, and he's like, dude, your shock's bottoming out. How much load do you got in that? And I told him, he's like, dude, you're supposed to have double that. Like, I misread the text. So I was like, that's not what you said. I pulled up the text. I was like, oh, dang it, I'm wrong. So we put the right amount of load in it. We went out there, and it was the best car I'd felt in weeks. So I messed up early in the season. So we only had 5 or so races afterwards with the right rear load. And, we won a heat race at Waynesfield with Jerry Bowersock in it, Jeff Kaz in it, Newspawn was in it. Like, we won a heat race with some really, really good drivers. Yeah. Finished second in a heat race with Dylan Woodling, who won it. Once we got the right rear load, it definitely put a lot of confidence in it. So, but it's just that middle part of the season that drug on so long, it's hard to forget about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But once you figure it out, and you got to feel confident with it, because once you figured out, these numbers were wrong, that's why, then the car was driving the way it should have been, and you were able to, like that heat race that you named with Jerry Bowersock, and that's a loaded heat race, man. To win that heat race, that's good momentum going into this season.
I had it pretty easy. I got the invert started on the pole, but it was the night we had the little stock car motor in it. It was right after we blew up the big motor at Eldora. We put the little motor in just to make sure it ran right. We were going to get one night on it, and then our plan was to go run DTWC in the year at Eldora. It ran great, obviously. I loved it. I love that little motor. I actually just sold it. I'm pretty sad about it. But funds were tight, so it was the first thing to go. It was pretty cool to win it. Jerry was right there with me. There were a couple opportunities for him to maybe slide me or something, but he wasn't pushing. He ended up winning that night. Jerry's a great dude. I like racing with him. His car owner is actually the guy who sold me that car I ran. Eric Austin is a great dude. He's created a great friendship with me. I'm very thankful for them,
Talking about your cars, you've always got some slick wraps on your rides, and this season is no different. I know you talked about this, but I'm going to ask you, where did the inspiration come for the Tide Modified?
So I don't know. I've always enjoyed throwbacks. I've always enjoyed one-off schemes. It's expensive to put a wrap on a car for one race, right? But we were supposed to go down to Charlotte last year for the World Finals and run the modified down there. But when we blew up at Eldora, I was like, man, I'm not taking a 12-hour trip on a little motor. It doesn't make sense. We don't have a shot at probably making the show, let alone doing well. So I contacted them, just let them know, like, hey, I'm withdrawing my registration. We had a engine failure. I just can't make it down there. And it was actually super awesome of them. They gave me a full refund on my registration. Wasn't planning on that. I was just being polite, letting them know somebody else could have that spot I had.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to do that Tide car throwback for that race. It just made sense to do it. We were down in Charlotte, NASCAR country. It'd be cool, a lot of publicity, in that area that's on, Dirt Vision, whatever. So we were like, man, it'd be good to get this attention to our team. It'd be a cool way to do it. And so B-Ham, I'm actually wearing his hat, Brandon Hamburg with B-Ham. He does all of our designs. He's super great to work with, super timely. Once you got a good rap guy that you love working with, you'd never leave him. So he had kind of started on it, and I let him know, like, hey, we're not going down there. I apologize that you spent time on this, and we're not going to be able to use it. And he was super cool about it, wasn't upset. So we were texting this winter. We were going back and forth about some stuff, and he's like, so what are we doing for 2025? Because he knows I like bright. He knows I like crazy. I love bright, crazy cars. And I was like, hey, what if we ran the throwback car for 2025? He's like, hey, I'm in. I mean, I think it'll look good. So he sent me a digital of it, and I was like, yeah, I like it. And he has all the sparkles and stuff in it, so I still get a little bit of my crazy stuff in it, right? It's not just plain Jane, but he does a great job. I'm super thankful for him and what he does. He makes those cars look great. He makes the sponsors pop. I can't thank him enough for everything he does.
Guys do it, but I'm going to suggest it for 2026. You got to pick a car from Days of Thunder and wrap it.
Ooh, I might have to. I like the Tide car throwback because it's if you do the DW Darrell Waltrip car,
Yep.
it's number accurate. I mean, you can't go wrong with the number accurate throwback.
No, it's slick. No, don't get me wrong. It'll be cool. One of the coolest out there in 2025, and I know you're always going to bring a slick ride to the track every season. Can't wait to see it out there on the track. Montpelier and Eldora fill most of your schedule for 2025. I know you're going to start your season at Montpelier. What does the rest of 2025 look like? Have you got that ironed out, or is some of it just kind of as the wind goes?
With some of the challenges we got this year, time wise, we're built in a building project right now, and obviously that takes up some of our finances also. I'm not entirely sure what the whole season is going to look like. Montpelier is the closest place to home that we're going to race at, other than Eldora and Waynesfield. I'd like to hit the Waynesfield nights, if all possible, when they're running. Just schedule dependent on that. And then Eldora, we're going to for sure run for points. That's main goal number one. Main goal number two is to run the week of the Summer Nationals closest to home, so that Shady Hill, Montpelier, Butler, Crystal, Oakshade, Wayne County, that's our goal to run that week. I've never done it. I'd really, really like to do it. I think it'd be a fun opportunity to do, especially with, we do our goodie bags everywhere we go. I want to be able to get some goodie bags out to people I don't normally meet. So I'm pretty excited about that opportunity. And then goal number three is to do a little bit of traveling, right? If funds allow, I'd like to go to a couple places that I've never hit before. I'd like to go to Atomic. I've never raced at Atomic. I'd like to go back to Fairbury. That place owes me one. The last 2 times I've been there, it's beat me up. I need to go back there. I don't even want to win. I just want a good finish. I'd like to go. I like to go to Brownstown. That track looks like a lot of fun. I've had some people tell me I need to go to Paragon. Just different places. I like to make sure I make it back to the Berg. I like going down there. We typically run pretty well. I mean, my first night in modified, I think we were down there. I think I finished 6th it was. So, I mean, it was a really good night for our first night in modified. won our heat race by like 6 seconds. I mean, it was a great night. So I like running down there. But if we don't have the money to kind of travel a little bit, we'll just head on over to Montpelier. It's nice and close to home. Ryan Sutter does an amazing job over there. He's really kind of turned that place around with scheduling and just keeping a timely show. It's one of the worst parts about going to a racetrack, when the night just drags on. They can't get the show on the road. He does a really, really good job at just keeping it on track, starting on time, running an efficient show, and a show you want to go to, right? You want to be a part of.
You kind of touched on it. It sounds like there's a good chance you're going to hit some new tracks this season. And you also kind of touched on this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Is there any specific race or races that you're looking forward to?
So it's kind of weird. I've always enjoyed bullring style tracks. So, your Fairbury, Lima could kind of be considered. It's pretty high speed. You can throw a slider because of the banking there. But I like the smaller tracks where you got to turn the car down, and it's a little more technical, where it's not just motor up, momentum. Mostly because we've always raced with a little less power than the majority of the field, right? We hadn't had the power to, we were down on horsepower. But lately, I think racing down on horsepower has allowed our team to get better at momentum style tracks, because I've really had to learn how to drive the car in a way that I don't lose my momentum, don't scrub speed. So I'm really looking forward to Eldora. The last race we finished there without a blow up, because the last 2 nights we were there, we blew up motor both nights. I was in 7th or 8th chasing down Brian Ruhlman. So, I mean, that's a super cool feeling. A couple more laps. I was probably straight away behind him, and I was gaining on him, and it was a couple more laps. I would have been at least door to door with him. And that's a really cool feeling if you're chasing down Brian Ruhlman. So any night at Eldora is a good night. The fans there are awesome. I mean, the atmosphere is awesome. I'm literally looking forward to those. I saw the Terry Hall Memorial was moved to Montpelier this year. Pretty excited about that. We're going to try to be in attendance for that for sure. And then that Summer National Week is a huge week for me. Just if I do get the opportunity to hit that all 6 nights, I think that'll be a really fun opportunity just to kind of see what some of these other race teams do, learn a little bit. And then obviously when you race with better drivers than yourself, it only improves you. So hopefully I can learn some stuff, get some pointers, and hopefully come back to local racing with a little bit of an edge on the guys who stayed local. Definitely.
I talk about this, and it usually comes up with pretty much everybody. And you kind of touched on it. I know I've seen you at the track where when you're not in the pits working on the car or getting ready to race, you're out in the stands interacting with the fans and passing out your goodie bags. And it just something that I've said time and time again, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. It's what, to me, separates dirt racing from every other major sport, is the ability for the drivers and fans to have interactions like that night in and night out. It's what makes dirt racing what it is, in my opinion.
I love it. I mean, I remember as a kid sitting in Limeland, and don't get me wrong, I kind of touched on my mom sponsored Ron's cars, so his drivers will come up and see us kids, whether it was by obligation or by choice, I don't know. Looking back, I'm like, well, maybe Ron made him come up there. I don't know. But I can remember sitting there. One night I fell asleep in the stands, and I woke up, Mike Breck is carrying me to the car. Like I was a little dude. And it was like the coolest feeling in the world. I was like, holy cow, Mike Breck is carrying me. It was the best moment. Like I can remember it to this day, right? And I think back to those times, and I'm like, man, where are these drivers? You go to racetracks, and even, I know dirt track is better than any other form of racing, but we're even getting to the point where we're too good to go hang out with the fans. And I miss that for them kids. If it weren't for guys like that, what if I would have never fallen in love with racing and not had this opportunity, right? So I do think we're good at it, but I think we could be better. I think that dirt racers have the opportunity to reach out to these fans easier than anybody else. And whether you feel like you're a big name or not, I don't feel like I am, but I feel like every time I go in the stands and I take pictures with a kid, I sign an autograph, I hand him a goodie bag, it makes that kid's night. And truth be told, the night we blew up at Eldora, it was a rough night. Last 2 years, we've had a lot of engine troubles, and no fault of our engine builder. It's just a lot of them were heat related. We had some parts failures, radiator and fan belt. Another one was a parts failure, just piston cracked. Nothing we could do about it. Cracked in the middle of the heat race. And then a cam broke. I mean, it was just parts failure after parts failure after parts failure. And the night I blew up real big with the piston deal, I just passed the car for the transfer spot. We were coming to the white flag, and I was all jacked up. I started in the tail. Like I said, we're typically down on power just due to financial reasons. And so I qualified real bad, started like 8th of the heat, was up to the transfer spot on the white flag lap. I was super jacked up. I'm like, man, this is going to be awesome. We're going to make it straight in the show. No B main tonight. And we blew up. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, it was such – I was praying. Like, as the car was rolling around the track, I'm like, Lord, why'd you allow this to happen? I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I was just down the dumps. I was like, man, this really stinks. And I prayed. I was like, Lord, just help me have a good attitude when I get out of this car, because I've been in some situations where we blew up in 2023 and I didn't handle myself properly. And I was like, I don't want to have that again. Like, I've made enough of mistakes. Help me to handle this one right way. And so I get out of the car, and one of my crew guys had ran under the track through the love tunnel, come up, and he's like, dude, what happened? I was like, I don't know. I said, something locked up or the engine blew. And he shows me a picture of the smoke coming out the back. I was like, nah, we blew it up. And so I asked him, like, you want to drive it back to the trailer? Because they had to spit it up top because there wasn't enough room in down the infield. So they had pushed him back, and I walked back. I just spent the whole time praying. So I got back up to the trailer, and I grabbed my goodie bag, and I grabbed my wife. I was like, let's go. My crew chief's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going to do what we came here for. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and we believe that God has given us this opportunity to race so that we can tell others about him. And all of our goodie bags have a gospel track in it, which tells the story of salvation in a very simple, clear way. And I took those goodie bags and I went out and started passing them out to kids. These kids are flocking me, and I can't help but smile. Like, I'm like, you guys are helping me more than I'm helping you. Like, I'm just giving you a couple pieces of candy and a way to know you're going to heaven. But you're changing my whole outlook and attitude on this night. Like, it was such a blessing. And, those nights kind of stink, but we were blessed to run there and do that. And I just love the opportunity. Like, I think these racers are missing such an encouragement to go hang out with these kids. Like, I don't know about them, but when I get to go hang out with them and make their night, it makes my night just as good as theirs.
Yeah, I see what you're saying in that aspect. I guess when I think about it, I tend to find myself, not every night, but there are definitely nights that I find myself in the pits when it's easier to have that interaction, where I know what you're saying is you're actually going out there in the stands. And yeah, I agree with you. You don't see much of that. I do feel like, though, depending on the timing, if you're in the pits, usually everybody's fairly personable and friendly. Yeah. But what you're saying is that you can go beyond that interaction, is you can actually get there out there. If you've got a minute to get out there in the stands and chat with the kids, if you're not the only guy working on the car or something crazy like that.
Right. Right.
And I agree with you. I don't see as much of that, and that's definitely something very cool that I know I've seen you do time and time again.
Yeah, it's definitely the best part of the night. And like you hit a great point there, right? If you're not the only guy there working on the car, and for a couple of years it was just my wife, Trevor, my crew chief, and me. And she's sitting right here beside me, and the three of us we knocked some stuff out. Like, we did really good work together. We worked really well as a team. But I've had some people come around me to the point where Trevor, and typically Tyler, he's a good kid. He helps on the car. His Tyler Carter Lawn Care, he's on the car as a sponsor. And even more than that, he's on the car as a friend, and he's at the track every week. He's at the shop. I mean, the kid sacrifices a ton of time. He's only 19, 20 years old, or 21, sorry, just turned 21. He's a great guy. And with that allows Bridget and I to go up in the stands, allows us to do our thing with the kids. You hit a great point. Like, I understand not everybody's as blessed to have people around them as I am. Like, I completely understand. Like, I'm blessed by that. But I do think it's important to go further than that interaction in the pits, because like you said, I do think that fans have more access, right? You don't have to have some hard card or some super special credential to get back where the cars and the drivers are. Just got to wait till the night's over, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think guys can go beyond that and get up there in the stands, make those relationships, make those kids fall in love with racing.
Definitely, definitely. All right, so I talked to you about this beforehand a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and, before we wrap it up, I'm going to go over the lightning round questions. So the first question you're going to know about, I just hope you can give me an answer with your wife next to you. It's it's celebrity crush growing up.
Celebrity crush growing up. I don't know. When I was younger, I thought Haley Deegan was awesome because she was in racing. I guess that would probably be it. I mean,
Okay.
She's a little younger than me, but she had a lot more opportunity than me, I guess.
Sometimes that's just the way it works out, man. Favorite cartoon?
Favorite cartoon? I liked Spider-Man cartoon, and then it kind of turned into movies, right? So I don't know if that's a movie or cartoon. I don't know how you do it. Spider-Man was my favorite superhero growing up. Justice League, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, all right. I'll take both of those. Very good. Do you have a favorite pro wrestler?
Not really. Okay. We watched it a little as kids. I just was rooting for whoever was down at the time because they're going to come back.
Yep. Yeah. Fair enough. Do you have a favorite song?
Favorite song? One I sing often, and I sing it as a joke more times than not, is a country song called "I Pray for You," and it's talking about how a pastor told a guy who he was upset with, and he's trying to say like, "Oh, how do I get along with this guy? Like this guy just gets on my nerves." He's like, "You got to pray for him." And the song goes, I pray your brakes go out running down a hill. I pray a flower pot falls from a windowsill and knocks you on the head like I'd like to. So I joke about that song a lot. Like I sing, especially lately, I sing it a ton. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of a fun song, puts a smile on your face, but at the same point in time, you're like, oh, I understand the point of this song too.
Sure. All right, very good. Do you have any one location that you have saved on the map on your phone?
I got the race shop because sometimes I'm coming from places that, with my job, I can, I go all over Northwest Ohio. So, sometimes I'm coming from places where I'm like, well, I don't know exactly the fastest route and it's quitting time and I can head straight to the shop and Bridget will meet me there with clothes or something. So, I got that saved. I got the engine builder's house saved for the same reason. Sometimes I'm coming from places I don't know where I'm going. Those are two I use the most probably. Saved locations would be the engine builder's house and the race shop.
All right. Do you have a favorite vacation spot?
Probably anywhere with a beach. I love going to water. I love the beach. I love the sun. I love the warmth. I'm all about that.
So salt water or fresh water?
It kind of depends, I guess. Like we just got back from a cruise here a couple months ago, and that was a blast. Like snorkeling, seeing the fish and stuff. That was awesome. But I enjoy fishing on freshwater too. So I mean,
okay.
I don't know. I can get down with either of them, I guess.
Very good, very good. Find you a beach. Something very few people know about you.
I guess it kind of depends what circle you're talking in. A lot of people know this that know me outside the racetrack, I guess. But if you're talking about just the racetrack side, I'm the youth leader for our church, so I lead our teen group. I have a blast with it. We have anywhere from 12 to 15 teens a week. We have a point system, games. Like it's a blast. We're actually having an activity here 2 weeks on April 16th where the race car is going to be there. There's going to be a cornhole tournament. Winners are going to get some gift cards. We're just putting together a whole night for them. Pizza, good time. So that's where a lot of my passion is. When I'm at the racetrack and when I'm not, because our teen group actually this year is going to come with us a couple nights and help pass out those goodie bags, help on the car. So I'm super excited about that opportunity. So.
Very cool. Very cool. If you could own one car, what would it be? So if you get home and you open the garage door, what's sitting in the garage?
Man, 69 Camaro. I love them. I like the C8 Vets too, but I mean, I love old school muscle. I don't think you can beat it.
Very nice, very nice. Do you have a go-to meal?
Go-to meal? Probably like my favorite meal. Like if I'm gonna decide I'm gonna sit down and eat a meal, it's gonna be beef and noodles with mashed potatoes. Just easy, fun. I just love it. I don't know. Had a
Nice.
lot growing up, and I actually had it. My mom makes us a birthday meal every year, and that's what she made me for my birthday meal this year. So
There you go.
just like it.
Last question. Funniest story you have from the track?
Funniest is probably my first. It's my first year in racing. There was a guy who'd been racing several years. His name's Jan Launder, and he's kind of started to get back into it a little bit. Took a little break as his daughters were growing up. But he'd been in racing for a while, and he kind of came alongside me, tried to help me. He had a Conover built car also, and a lot of times we would race pretty close to each other, but I'd never beat him. And then the last night at Lima that season, so it would have been the 2014 season. We were racing, and we go down to 3 on the white flag lap, and I thought he was going to kind of drift up the track, and I wasn't the most talented either, and I kind of doored him with. I didn't kind of anything. I 100% doored the tar out of him. I gave him some little right side romance, and I got around him and beat him to the flag stand. And I was like, oh, that was a dumb move. Why did I do that? Like, I just buried it in the corner too far. Just rookie mistake. It was dumb. And he comes up to my car afterwards. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get my butt beat, and I earned it. Like, I'm okay with it. And he's like, dude, you passed me. That was awesome. Great job. You know, he was stoked for me that I got – it was my first top 10, and I passed him to do it. He was happy for me. And I was like, man, that's not how I thought this conversation was going to go at all.
Well, I'm glad it worked out that way for you. Wrapping up.
He's a good guy. We now help him a little bit. It's funny, with him being out of it for years, now we're helping him, and I'm like rooting him on. Like, you go, man. You pass people. You know, it's pretty awesome.
Nice.
So.
Returning the favor now. You just got to watch out because if he hops in a modified, he might hit the right side of your car.
Yeah, I earned it. If so.
All right. So wrapping this up, where can everybody follow you, and what sponsors would you like to thank?
So we actually just started our first website, so I'm pretty excited about that. You can find us on JarrodKlayRacing.com. You can find us on Facebook, where we do the majority of our updating, posting. But all that does feed to the website, so you can find updates on there. You can buy merchandise on the website. You can connect with us on the website. But Facebook at Jarrod Klay Racing LLC. That's where we do the majority of our stuff. We do have TikTok. It's under my name. I'm trying to make some funny videos. They're mediocre at best, but hey, doing what we can to get our name out there. So you can find us on those 3 main channels. I do have an Instagram. I do have X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I barely use it, but I got it. So that would be the best way to find us. Would probably be through Facebook or our website. And then I got a list of partners that are just awesome to me. They stuck by my side through quite a bit. It did take us 8 years to get our first win, and I have these people sticking by our side through that. So it's kind of a testimony to the great relationships that I have with these people. I'm thankful for them. It's to us, these are partnerships. I'm not sitting here asking for a handout. My goal is to promote your business just as much as you're helping me on the track. I tell them all my success on the track directly relates to your success through helping me. So I got some great people behind me. I'm gonna read a list here. It's a little lengthy, but I gotta thank each and every one of them. Elevation Construction. They were actually new to the team last year. They came on board, and they stuck with me to this year and came on the car as a primary sponsor for 2025. Even with that, long stretch in the middle where we were terrible because I couldn't set up a race car. So thankful for them. Point Health Ministries. They've been with us for several years. They've been really, really good to us. I can't complain. They come to the track each week. Tammy's always there praying for me. I think she sees the back of her eyelids more than she watches racing because she's worried and praying. High Welding has been with us for several years. We got our first win with them on the car. Smith Realty Professionals has been with us since the word go. We've now raced for 27, so this will be our 11th full season. Race Car Bodies by Daily. We made a friendship back a couple years ago, and that's only grown to be better. We actually are now partnering, so you can order parts through JKR on behalf of Race Car Bodies by Daily, and you can pick them up from us. So that's pretty exciting. Haviland Drainage came on the car last year and actually upped what they did last year to this year. I'm super thankful for all they've done for us. I'm excited to continue to grow that relationship. They're great people over there, just super down to earth, awesome people. West Central Ohio Podiatry, TJ Hunt Trucking. That's Trevor Hunt, the crew chief. He's sacrificed more than I can put into words. Time, product. Right? He buys a lot of the brake clean, provides bolts. I'm using his shop, makes his shop messy. Him putting up with me making his shop messy is nice also. Tyler's Lawn Care, kind of talked about him a little bit earlier. He does a lot on the car. He's a great kid. He helps us financially. He helps us physically, and that means more to me than words can describe. When you can get a guy to show up to the shop, it's fun showing up to the racetrack because racetracks are cool, right? But the majority of the work's done during the week, and that guy to come alongside you during the week, like Trevor and Tyler, is huge, right? You need that help in the shop, so I'm super thankful for that. Buckeye Commercial Body, he's been with us for several years. He's actually going to be my new neighbor here before too long. Mobile Diesel Performance, he's done great work on my personal vehicles. He's partnered with the team, so I'm super thankful for him. One cool partner we got, it started last year. It kind of carried over from years prior. DAE Lawn Care out of Salina, Ohio, had partnered with us and helped us with what they could. They're a very small landscape company out of Salina, but they've been very, very good to us. Well, his good friend, Larry Wally Post, passed away, and the family all came together and put a sticker on my car. I was super honored to get to carry his name. They all met me at Eldora one night. They all bought shirts. They met me at Eldora. We took pictures around the car after a feature. It was a really cool feeling. I'm super thankful for that group that's decided to allow me to carry his name. I'm super thankful for that. This year, we had a new person come on the car. Her name's Tiffany, and she has a picture of her bulldog, Effie, on the car. So that's my new favorite dog. That dog is right beside me on the sail panel, right beside my head. So if you see the dog on the car, it's not mine. It's Tiffany's, but we're super thankful for her support. Sullivan Insurance has been one of the very few sponsors that has been with me from the word go. They every year they write a check. I don't have to ask for it. I send them a thank you. I send them a picture or whatever, and before I know it, check shows up in the mail. They're super awesome. We have our personal home and auto insurance through them. They're super great to work with. Whenever we need to make a claim, no hassles, just professionally and personally, they're great friends. So I'm super thankful for them. Henderson Concrete Construction came on the car last year. Super thankful for them. They do a lot of flat work concrete, so if you need for anything like that, hit them up. Goodyear Shoe Service out of Wapak. They can do repairs, purchase new shoes. Hutcherson Rentals. It's my aunt. She has some rentals out in Shawnee area if you're looking for a rental house. Appraisal Specialist and Klay Fabrication. That's my mom and my brother. They help out a ton, especially my mom with the goodie bags. She typically buys all the supplies for that and spends hours upon hours packing these things. Over the last 3 years, we've handed out over 20,000 goodie bags. So lots of time invested into packing those bags. And then my church, I have a little sticker on the car. It says Marion Next. That's my teen group, and they supported us this year. I'm super thankful for them. I'm super excited about the opportunity to lead them and bring them to the racetrack and show them what I do outside of church. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. You got a lot of support, and it'll be your second year. You've got some of the kinks worked out, and I think 2025 is going to be a good season for you, and wish you the best.
Thank you. I'm super excited. I can't wait to test out this new Lightning chassis PHX at Mount Clear this weekend. It's going to be a good time.
Jarrod Klay, driver of the number 17 modified. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Guys, this is Josh with the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, and we hope to see you at the track.